we are going to, dinner's actually ready a little bit earlier than anticipated. So we're going to flip the script a little bit. We're actually going to eat first, and then we will get into our program. So before we officially dismiss here to eat, and I'll be calling tables here. First of all, I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. I know it's odd to do the banquet before the official end of the season, but with schedules being as they are, and a few varsity players and myself leaving for Europe on Monday, getting that into June, we figured it'd be a good time to get everybody together now to celebrate all the accomplishments up to this point, and hopefully we'll have something to celebrate here in about a month or so. So I want to welcome everybody officially to our banquet. And at this time, I would like to call up graduate. I gotta start changing that, right? Graduate Ryan Duvall to lead us in our pre-meal prayer.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing all of us here this afternoon to celebrate this past season. We ask that you continue to bless each and every single one of us, and we thank you for allowing us to be part of the Moeller Volleyball family. We ask that we may have a safe and successful weekend ahead of us, but to always remember that you, Lord, are the reason we are truly here. In your name we pray. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ, O Lord. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Ryan. And at this time, we'll be calling by table, but again, there's juice and lemonade and all kinds of things in the back, so help yourself. We're going to ask the varsity players and parents to head to the back and begin eating, and coaches as well. Go ahead. Coaches as well. Go ahead. I know that people are still finishing eating, that's quite all right. But we will go ahead, again, in the interest of time and some graduations and things that are happening tonight. We'll go ahead and begin the player portion of our program. And to start that off, I'd like to invite Coach Judd Hopkins and Coach Dan Frank to introduce our freshman team.
All right. Can we all hear me? That's what's important tonight, is that I am hearable. All right. I'm going to try to get through this quickly, keep the night moving along, and just have some thank yous to say for the season. Just going to start off and set the precedent for seniors who will speak. Start off and thank your parents. So I want to thank my parents for allowing me to do this. Let me start. Also my wife for allowing me to do this. She's the one who really lets me do this. So I want to thank her, although she's not here. Second, I want to thank all of the parents and family who are here tonight with us. Without all of you guys, we wouldn't be able to do our jobs as coaches. I know you'll probably hear it, but it really is a big deal how much you guys do for us and how much we rely on you guys to make sure that the days and operations move smoothly. So I want to thank all of the parents, my freshman parents in particular, Pam and Jen. I'm pretty sure I forgot to send out almost every tournament bracket this season until Jen texted me like 2 days before, like, hey, do we have a bracket this weekend? And sure enough, we do. I just hadn't sent it. So thank you guys very much for everything that you did this season. Moving on to the voice of Moeller Volleyball, Ed. Thank you very much for all that you did for us this year. Always great to hear you on the sideline and get some feedback on how the team's doing, so thank you. To the coaching staff, I got to thank JV coaches, Bill and Mitch. I didn't get a shot at you this year, but that's all right. But thank you guys for all the help that you gave us. Varsity coaches, well, first of all, Matt, not you, Matt, but this Matt, for helping us out this season. He was there for a few of our practices. Might not be as visible to the parents and stuff, but my boys got to know him decently well. He helped out with some practices, so big thank you there. My main man, Gus, thanks for coming back and deciding not to grow up. Michael and Doug, lifelong friends, thank you guys for continuing to help my team and just being able to be part of my volleyball life and just life in general. Thank you guys. And as well as Matt for everything that you do. I know I say it every year, but I think it really is underappreciated the amount of work that you do to keep this program running the way that it does. I mean, it's truly special, the opportunity that these kids get, that we get, that the parents get, that everybody gets, and it's because of you. You're the reason that we're able to do this. So I really appreciate it and everything that you do. Lastly, this man right here, really couldn't have done without him this year. I think that the players will tell you I was on time to how many practices this year? Probably 2, yeah. And matches, it was probably about that number. Between work and life things, I was all over the place this year, and without Dan, I wouldn't have been able to have gotten through this season. He was there every day getting the guys ready, making sure that practice started, making sure that everything was ready to rock, and that's saying a lot, knowing that in about 5 days, Dan will be saying I do at the altar, and we'll be getting married. Yep, so I'm sure Beth will be a little bit more mad at you, but thank you for everything that you did. Moving on to the players. Sophomores, from what I had from you guys last year, and then the other guys on the JV team, saw a lot of improvement for you guys. It was really fun to watch you guys develop as a team. Winning some tournaments this year, I could tell that you really gelled and became a cohesive unit, and it's going to be really awesome to see you guys develop moving forward this year. Juniors on the varsity team, as well as my sophomores. You guys are now going to be the future of the program, all right? A lot of history on your shoulders, but I think that it's in good hands. I'll say the varsity team, this is probably one of the most competitive teams that I've ever seen, and I mean that not in just a talent way, but in a will-to-win way. You guys are not okay with losing, and that's something that we can't teach. And you need to carry that throughout your careers, and that starts a lot with the guys who are seniors. I never had the chance to work with Alex and Noah on a personal level or on a coaching level, but I can see it with you guys. But Adam, Ryan, Don, Chris, and Kyle, you guys are 5 of the most competitive kids that I ever had the pleasure of coaching in this program, and I really hope that you finish off your careers the way that you guys want to this weekend. I have all the faith in you, but I really wish you the best of luck this weekend, okay? Lastly, to my 2 tables right here, my boys. We started off where we were a big team. We had 16 guys, which, if you know a volleyball court, there's only 7 names. There's only 7 numbers I can write down on the starting roster, so that leaves 9 kids who aren't technically starting, and that can be very difficult. And the one thing that I can say about this team is that there is a lot of talent. There is not a very low basement with these guys. A lot of athletic kids and a lot of kids who've been playing the sport, and there's just going to be so much room to grow. The potential is there to really turn into a special class with how many kids that we have who really came to play every day and have such a competitive edge to them. We had 2 or 3 position battles that literally went from the beginning of the season to the end. I think Dan and I were discussing, we must have thrown out 25 different lineups this season. It was never the same. And that's not necessarily because we couldn't find something, but that's because kids would demand that we put them in the game. All right, if we thought that we had our middles figured out, Andrew Merrick would make us decide otherwise, right? Our right sides, if we were content with something, Ashton would come and bomb a ball and we'd have to rethink our lineups because there's just too much talent to get onto the court. And I really want to thank you guys for working with us through the whole season, through the ups and the downs, and really working to develop, because that's what it's about as a freshman team, is to develop your talent to where you're going to be where you want to be when you're seniors, right? To be going into this last weekend with a shot at state. And if you guys continue to do that, I think that you're going to be in a place where you really like to be, all right? So I thank you guys for everything that you've done. I don't know how many people know, but this is my last season coaching. So for you guys being my last team, I really want to say I appreciate how much work you guys have done and really making this last season a joy for me. So I really appreciate it. All right? Call you all up here to accept your freshman year award, and we'll just shake your hand, and then I don't know. I don't think we have room for everybody to stand up here. We can try to go up here and we'll, do a last break or something. All right. But first up, Nicholas Yeoman. Sorry, I don't have all the superlatives. That's going to be awkward if you all walk right in front of me like that. So let's come around. Shake your hand and walk. Nate Weehee. Don't forget the hardware. Joey Wheeler. Christian Threm. Colin Smith. A solid left-handed handshake. Connor Roach. He was my award winner for the Pete Rose Award. Nobody hustles like this kid. Good job this year. It's the non-gambling division. Great reside. Matthew Reinhold. Garrett G. Baby Pecker. Ashton Narrow. Sean Mulvaney. Andrew Merrick. Noah Lorbach. Derek Conklesby. We didn't pick her. Derek was my award winner for most nicknames this year. There's always one kid who just is kind of at the mercy of my nicknames. It was Derek this year. So. Luke Howman. Alex Davey. Looking around, I think I got everybody, right? Anybody missing? All right, well, that was our team. Thank you all again for the great season. Thank you everybody who played a part in it, which is everybody in this room. Yeah, that's all I got. So.
I always get to follow Judd. It's kind of a shame that this will be the last time I get to follow Judd. I appreciate you keeping it under control because it's usually a tough act to follow whenever Judd speaks. So first of all, I wanted to thank the parents. Biggest reason is for choosing to send your boys to Moeller High School. They don't understand it yet, maybe the seniors are, but at some point down the road, they're going to realize what a great opportunity you presented them. And, you know, I always tell the guys, it's like, you know, your mom and dad could be driving much better cars, taking much better vacations if they weren't sending you to Moeller. So remember that, and at some point I hope you can kind of understand and appreciate the education you got here. From a parent standpoint, thank you so much for being line judges, for making sure the boys got to the games on time. The coach's favorite, along with the boys feeding us, that's always a big deal. I like my kids less cranky and ready to play, so I find when they eat, they're much better. And also, thanks to our team parents, Carol Rediger and Susan Carroll, for making sure everything happened. Like Judd, they came to me a few times and said, hey, do we have a game or do we have a schedule going on for the tournament? So I always appreciate that. And you know, everything from a parent standpoint that you do to make this easy for a coaching standpoint. And you do a great job with it, so thank you. Next, I want to thank the coaches. I'm going to start off with Matt, just because Matt is very good at details and keeping things on schedule, and Judd and I screwed him up royally. So much so that he wouldn't even come up and introduce me. He said, why don't you just go take care of it yourself? You know, one of the great things about Moeller High School is the number of alums that are here that just want to come back. They played in the program, they've won state championships, and they want to give back and they want to be a part of it. And, you know, if you look 10, 12 years down the line, these are phenomenal examples of who Archbishop Moeller turns out and his coaching staff and around. So I'm always impressed and thrilled to be a part of this with these guys. A couple other coaches that you don't see a lot, Matt Konetsky. Matt usually comes in and works with our setters. Matt's also working on his PhD in physical therapy, and we used that this year more times than we did his setting coaching. Every time he showed up, something happened to somebody, and he was taking care of them. So I appreciate that. Also, there's a couple other folks that would come to practice at a quick phone call. Kevin Bradner, who coached here with us for many years and coaches with me I coach with him at Mount Notre Dame. And then the two Christines, Christine Carroll and Christine Chandler, who just at moment's notice are like, hey, I need some help. Can you come over here and run some things for us? And they were always very helpful with that. So to all the coaches, thank you. To the seniors. First of all, who in God's name would have thought you'd all still be here? Especially you, Suze. You know, when I had these guys a couple of years ago, we had more kids miss games because of suspensions than we actually had games. We missed 25 games in suspensions and had 22 games in the season. So, you know, the biggest thing I want to thank these guys for, from a senior standpoint, is their leadership this year was incredible. It's better than what I've seen in many years here in the past. I think because of the experience we had when you guys were sophomores, you realized that you couldn't do it alone with just the 8 of you guys. That it was for 7 of you guys. It was going to take bringing everybody along. The way you guys embraced the sophomores and the juniors and help bring them along and make them productive is incredible. And that's not to be lost or underestimated in any way, shape, or form. You guys really, really are special people and handle that so well. So thank you for that. And what is it, like 27-1 is the state championship, right? It's my math wrong. Is it 26? 26-1. We'll do a victory lap. We'll make it 27. Okay. So fantastic. I look forward to the opportunity of what you guys are going to bring next weekend. Okay. All right. So quickly for the team here, I got Mitch at the beginning of the year. Mitch is my first coach that was a player at the same time I was here, and I was so thrilled to have Mitch back. He kind of took a sabbatical for a year and went off and traveled the world and finished his degree. And, you know, if you knew Mitch in high school and met him now, it's kind of, I'm not even going to go there for you, but it is pretty impressive. At one point, early in the season, practice wasn't going real well. And, you know, we had 3 weeks of practice before we had a game. The kids were kind of, you know, wearing out. And Mitch, at the end of one practice, said, he goes, look, guys, you have to expect more out of yourselves and more out of the players around you. And that's such a great message for life. Whatever you're doing, wherever you go, expect more out of yourself and expect more of the people around you. And, you know, for Mitch to come up with that and lay that out, that quickly became kind of one of the themes for the year on what we expected and how we should handle ourselves and conduct ourselves. So kudos to Mitch for that. And Mitch also was the one who got practices started every day when I was running in late and all those kind of things, and just did a great job with the kids and stuff. So thank you. So as I said, we started the season the first 3 weeks in practice, and I'm looking at Mitch at one point, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not going to go well. And I told him coming into the first weekend, I said, if we're 3-3 out of this weekend, I think that's going to be okay. And he looked at me, didn't believe me. So in our first, we had 12 games in 10 days in the first part of the year. So, you know, we went out, started the season. I don't know if you guys remember the Beaver Creek game, but you guys were pounding the net. We couldn't hit a ball over the net in warm-ups. JJ took the first set he ever made, just threw it across the court, 3 rows into the stands. I was amazed because first I thought he was a little nervous, but then secondly I thought, I've never had a player that was that strong that could do that. I was like, that was pretty cool. But we settled down, did well, got through that. And in the Elder game, you know, which was kind of a problem for us all year long, we like to give teams a good lead and then try and close it down. And, you know, believe it or not, we really worked on trying not to do that in practice, but we would never guess that. But at any rate, so, you know, we played that match at Elder, and we played very tight, and then we got to that third match, and after the game, I told the guys in the locker room, I said, okay, it's a nice job getting yourself back in the first game, well done competing in the second, and we will never talk about the third set again. And we never did. We go into Centerville, we win the tournament, we go on to a really great run after that, and at the end of those first 12 games, we were 11-1. The other challenge I had for the guys all along was, can we play a perfect set? Can everybody be in the right place? Can we make our serves? Can we not make errors, kind of deal? And the theory on that is most people say, can you just play 5 points perfect? I being greedy, wanted a whole set, but we achieved that twice. We were at Loveland, and we were at 25, we beat Loveland 25-5. And they really only scored 2 points on their own. So, I mean, that's pretty amazing for a group of 15, 16-year-old guys to pull that off. So I was really impressed with it, and we did that a couple of times. So well done. And then the other thing that had me scared about these guys the whole season is I always measure my coaching ability by where we start and where we end. And when we win the biggest tournament of the year in the first weekend, I'm now going, I got a really big problem in how I'm gonna coach and where we're gonna be. And so we challenged them at the end of the year, and we said, hey, look, you know, coming into this last tournament, we want to play Elder, we want to play X, we want to win, and end the year with a big win. And absolutely, the guys stepped up and handled that. So congratulations to them, and nice job with that. And I thought about bringing you guys all up here and make you stand while I was awkwardly talking and seeing how you guys could handle the social aspect of standing in front of the crowd, but I decided not to do that to you guys. All right, so why don't we bring them up and make the introductions here. So we got JJ Beckelheimer. Jack Boone. Jack Carroll. Jared Durgan, he couldn't be here this evening. Jesse Harden. And Evan Hartman. Jack Klosterman. Klosky, on the way back, you make some weird sound that freaks everybody out. Jack Land. Jared Redinger. Ryan Reynolds. Patrick Greeley. Aubrey Shaw. Grant Stradley. Grant's rocking the fast and low today. Cole Tressinger. Okay, and then so last is Cole Weaver, and Cole was the manager, but Cole was also the one kid nobody on the team could pass. I didn't have to serve all year long because he would just go in and destroy our serve-receive all the time. So it was awesome to have Cole. So thank you, and to all to the varsity guys who were all the smart guys and gave you your scholar athlete certificates at the game at X the other night. They're all up here, okay? I would like to keep them, but nobody believed they belong with me.
Remind me to get those. All right, so I'm going to flip my own script a little bit here. I talk about each of our varsity players individually. But I usually start with thank yous. But I'm going to ask JJ to come up quickly because he has to go to graduation. So I'm going to ask JJ to come up. Come on. So JJ's here, but I'm going to talk about him and we'll let him and Bill, I believe Jack, Carol also go and then celebrate graduation. So JJ, as a freshman, JJ joined us for the last 3 weeks of our season. And it's been a great addition to our team. This is JJ's first year setting. We kind of threw him a curveball at the beginning of the JV season. But if you've watched him, you know how great his hands are. They're soft and they're clean, and he puts out a good ball. He has great game knowledge and is strong. He's definitely benefited from working with Doug and our varsity offense. Even in just the last 3 weeks, he's improved. JJ's going to have a bright future in our program and will be one to watch over the course of the next 3 years. JJ Beckelheimer. So before I get into talking about each of our players individually, I want to go through a list of thank yous because I'd be remiss from a coach's standpoint and end of year standpoint without doing that. So in no particular order, I want to start off by thanking Patty Weaver and the Cancer Free Kids team. We raised Patty told me, in a little kind of competitive spirit, we raised a little bit more than we did last year. So she was very proud to announce that. So a little bit more than $3,100 we raised on our Cancer Free Kids event. So to everyone here in this room that participated and contributed, thank you. And one thing, and Patty knows this as well, that I am in particular very excited about is Cindy Pilipovich is a good friend of mine. We've been doing the Cancer Free Kids event since 2009. And it certainly evolved into the event. We started with a car wash our very first year. I think maybe raised about $500, and it's obviously morphed into quite an event with the work of our great parents. But Cindy Pilipovich called me. She works with Cancer Free Kids. She spoke at the event, and she called me a few days after the event, and she said, and I'm very honored, I called Patty right away, that all the money that we have raised over the last 10 years, I believe it's somewhere close to $30,000 from Moeller Volleyball. And every year they have what's called a donor ball, and this year it's held on June 19th. And at the June 19th donor ball, they're going to call up the Moeller Volleyball members that are there present, and they are going to present, and I'm going to read this, the Moeller Volleyball Courage Court Challenge Grant. So they're naming the grant after us. The money that we donate every year will be specifically titled and named for our program and all the great work we do. So big round of applause for our program tonight. I'll be inviting the varsity players. Patty will be in attendance as well as a few other people. So hopefully our varsity players will be able to be there and be recognized up on stage and give that grant. So keep going on my thank yous. Ken Harden, big thanks to Ken Harden, expertly coordinating our concessions. Ken was very proud of my work too, that we have no supplies left except for like 2 cases of Powerade that we'll be taking with us to state weekend this year. So Ken does a great job. He's very organized, very detailed, and he's got the concessions down and clicking. So thanks to Ken. To the Kaisers for coordinating and organizing our grade school night. We put on a great event that evening, and it's always good to have these younger guys to see a great match. I bet some of the guys that are sitting at these tables participated in that many years ago. So to the Kaisers, thank you very much for coordinating that. To Barb Sheets for coordinating our senior week and our senior night. It was an awesome event. So to Barb Sheets, thank you for all your work for that. And a special thank you to Pam Rezai and Jennifer Reinhold, our freshman team parents, and Cheryl Redinger and Susan Carroll, our JV team parents, for everything that you guys do for your respective teams. I want to say a very special thank you to Nancy Bowles for being our varsity team parent this year. I know that it was never her intention to step up. She was volunteered at our opening banquet, our opening event. But Nancy's done a fantastic job. Truly, Nancy, I cannot thank you enough. You made my job so easy. You are very detailed. It keeps me very organized, and I cannot thank you for everything that you've done, especially this week as well. I know you've been working hard to make this weekend a good weekend for our team, and I know that these boys appreciate all that you have done as well. And I think you and I had a great year, so I can only imagine how great year 2 will be next year. So in advance, thank you, Nancy, for volunteering for next year. I've been told that's the problem with doing a good job, Nancy. If you do a good job, you get asked back to do it again. So wait, why mess up a good thing we've got going on? And also I want to say a general thank you to all the parents that are present in this room tonight. You guys, again, I said this at the beginning of the year, that we had a lot of parent involvement opportunities, whether it's driving, line judging, concessions, providing a meal, or just showing up and supporting your son out on the court. You make our jobs as coaches that much easier. We never have to worry about our players being taken care of, and we can simply show up and do what we love to do, which is coach. So players, I would ask that you give your parents a big round of applause as a thank you for all they've done for you this season. He's not here tonight, but I'd be remiss without thanking Mike Asbeck. Without his support, we would not have a program. I'd also like to thank Kim Hout. She is the assistant to Mike, and she's been great, especially this week trying to book hotels in Columbus. She worked tirelessly to get that taken care of in a very busy weekend in Columbus. So thank you to Kim. I'd also like to thank Jen Bogus. She has taken a lot off my plate this year, and I'm grateful for her for that. She's very organized, very detailed. She's helped with this tonight, preparing this tonight, and just been really there for me. She stops in pretty much every day and says, "What can I help you with? I'm free." And I'm grateful for her for that. Also, just to have a sounding board in the school to work through some things. So thank you to Jen Bogus. I'd also like to thank Mr. Edward Devaney, announcer extraordinaire. Give it up for Ed. As Ed tells me, he's not paid. He reminds me that all the time. I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this for free. So I want to thank Ed in all sincerity for giving up his time. He loves volleyball. He loves being around our guys, and it's something that I know that they enjoy as well. And so Ed, thank you for all you do. Hopefully we can invest in some announcing classes this year and continue to improve the craft. And also thanks to his lovely wife Marge, who is a big Moeller volleyball supporter. She's been to probably more than half our matches this year, just simply because she loves volleyball. And we also should give her a round of applause for putting up with Ed. And last but not least, I want to thank this table over here, our coaches. These guys are all wonderful and amazing, outstanding, good friends, great coaches, better people. Matt Konetsky gives up his time. He just shows up. He texted me. We were texting yesterday morning, and he said, "What time's practice?" I said, 9 to 10:30. He said, "I'm late, but I'll be there in 20 minutes," and he showed up. And he's invaluable to these guys just from a coaching standpoint. He's lived it. He's been through it. He's come out the other side. He's great for our guys across all levels. Next to him is the Gus Vogel, who is just awesome. I don't even have words really to describe Gus, but he is a coach. He's as much of a coach as anybody at this table. He's a great support for our players. He's a great support for our coaching staff. And all of the social media stuff that happens is really because of Gus, and we appreciate everything that he does. So let's give it up for Gus and Matt. Judd and Dan, great coaches, great season. You guys, I love having you around. You do a great job. I see the practices that you run. You push these guys. You make them better. Bill and Mitch, same thing. You guys got a great season. Won a couple tournaments, ended the season with that exclamation point, winning the tournament at Moeller. And again, you guys are great for our players. And Mike and Doug, just thanks. You guys keep me sane and keep me kind of grounded at times when it gets a little crazy. But I enjoy spending time with these guys. We had an early practice last week, and we rode up to Columbus and did a little scouting just this past Friday. And for us, it's something that I very much enjoy, just spending time with these guys, talking volleyball, talking about life. These guys are great role models for your sons, and so I could not be more grateful that they're a part of this Moeller volleyball team. So these coaches. And now on to the players and a little bit about our team. So I'm going to say our current record is 23-1, and we're going to continue that in a positive direction. Outright GCL champs, 5-1. Centerville League tournament champions, and obviously we run on Saturday. We will be playing regional champions, defeating Loveland in 3, advancing to the Elite 8 in the state tournament this coming Saturday. And honestly, and I'm not just saying this, but probably most important, I mean this, is that as a team, we will be receiving this next weekend. As a team, we will be receiving an Academic All-Stars Award. So let's give it up for our varsity team. Gus took and tweeted out a really great picture of all of our academic all-stars, and being a teacher first and a coach second, and parents here, we talk about having student athletes, and obviously you invest a lot in your son's education. So that academic all-star award is as good of an award as we can get. And so I'm really proud of these guys. They are student athletes. They're the definition of student athletes. They work hard. They burn the midnight oil. We see them, when they come to practice after, on a Thursday or Friday, and they are exhausted because they're putting in time in practice, but they're also putting in time in organizations and involvements in their studies, and it shows and reflects. So parents, you should be very proud of them. I know that we are as a coaching staff. So first of all, I want to, and the parents, this is varsity parents, this is really more so for you. I have the pleasure to work at Moeller, and I mean that, and I walk through the halls every single day, and every single day, faculty members, staff members come up to me, and they tell me how awesome these young men are. They're like, man, I came to your match last night, and it was so fun. But let me tell you what these guys do in the classroom. Or let me tell you what these guys do for pastoral ministry. Or let me tell you how they're involved in this club. And I always knew who he was, but I never really kind of put it together that he played volleyball. And they say to me, you are so lucky to have such a great group of guys that play volleyball. And it could not be further from the truth. It could not be more of the truth. It could not be more of the truth. Not further from the truth. I messed up. I got ahead of myself there, Adam. Thanks for catching me. It could not be more of the truth. This is a special group. Doug and Mike and I have said that from the beginning, and it's such a compliment to these guys and what they do, not just on the court, and not just the 23-1 or the GCL champs, the academic all-stars, but just what kind of young men that they are. And the fact that adults recognize this, and the fact that adults go out of their way to make comments about the kind of, the quality of human beings that these young men are. So I cannot be prouder. Parents, I don't know if you get that all the time, but I want you to know that, and it happens, and I'm not exaggerating, it happens almost daily, that the faculty members and staff members at Moeller are stopping me and telling me this. And it's very much the truth. So it's odd to talk about the season when it's not complete yet, but there's obviously a lot to be proud of, and I just mentioned a few of our accomplishments up to this point. This team has been bought in since day one of our season, way back in March. They set goals and have worked tirelessly to achieve those goals. As I've said throughout the season, people always keep up like, oh, you guys are having a good season. And I pretend like I don't know that. And this has been kind of my standard response is, yeah, we're off to a good start. And even though we're in the postseason, and even though our record is what it is, and even though we're advancing to state weekend, I still feel that way. We are off to a good start. We've not played our best volleyball yet, and this journey is far from done for this team. So we're off to a good start. There's a lot more to come for this team. And Mike, Doug, and I are very, very excited about what this coming weekend holds. We're off to a good start. We got a lot more to do. Mike, Doug, and I could not be prouder of this team and how hard they work and how much they've progressed. They want to be pushed and challenged by us, and more importantly, by each other. We're so excited to be practicing this last week of season, and we are looking forward to what the weekend ahead has in store for us. So now, I'm going to start calling up our players. I'm going to do this a little bit differently this year. I'm going to ask our sophomores to come up as a group. So if I can have our 4 sophomores come up, please. Yeah, you guys can take the stage, please. All right, Braden Vaughn. I'm so proud of and impressed. Hang tight, don't go anywhere. All right, you good? All right. I'm so proud of and impressed with Braden and how he has stepped up for this team, especially in the last 2 weeks. Braden had not seen a lot of court time prior to the altar match, but he stepped in and stepped up and seamlessly ran half of our offense. This is kind of a good stat. In the 4 matches he's most recently run, Alter, Northmont, Fairfield, and Loveland, his setting average is 61%, which is huge. That's great. It's been fun to see Braden's confidence grow and to see how much he's improved. His serve has improved as well. We were talking about that yesterday in practice. I love the float he's hit. It's been very effective for us on that serving line. I know another offseason will only make Braden better, and I look forward to seeing what he brings to the court as a junior next year. Braden Vaughn. Alec Bowles. Alec might be our most improved player this season. We told Alec, and I mean that in a very positive way, We told Alec when he made the team back in March that he might not see a lot of court time, but that practice reps against Chris and Ben and with Chris and Ben would be huge for him. Alec took advantage of these reps every single day in practice, going against two of the best middles in the state, and his improvement, if you've watched him, is obvious. Alec never backs down and is never afraid to take a rip at a ball. He has no fear and he swings free, and we love that about him. I have several great memories of Alec coming off the bench and our setters feeding him immediately. And just so you guys know, coming off the bench and going in and playing offense is not an easy thing to do. And the fact that our setters feel so confident in Alec speaks to the kind of player that Alec is. And that's huge for Alec because the setters have no fear. They set him. And what I love most is that Alec will come off the bench right away. He gets that first ball, and I think every time it's been a kill. And he usually gets real hyped up after, which I also love. It's fun to see Alec's progression, and it's fun to see his excitement. Alec's journey has just begun. I look forward to seeing what he will bring to the team as a junior next year. Alec Bolts. Luke Fuller. I'm not going to make any Captain America jokes either. Last year's Matt would have. This year's Matt. We asked a lot of Luke at the beginning of the season to be a sophomore, 6 rotation outside, but Luke stepped up and answered that call. Luke has he's worked incredibly hard throughout the course of the season and continues daily to improve. He's begun to develop shots and isn't afraid to take a big swing against a big block. Luke has great game knowledge, he's athletic, and even though he's a little bit undersized for a typical outside, jumps really well. All of these things combined make Luke a dangerous player. As coaches, we've seen Luke's steady improvement all season, and we've seen a major improvement in the last 2 weeks especially. Luke looks comfortable on the court and is in a good rhythm. It might be because of his new haircut. I did have a little shot in there, but we do like the new haircut. We do like it too. All of this bodes well for Luke in the upcoming weekend, and more importantly, in his next 2 years with the varsity team. Luke Fuller. Hunter Haas. Hunter moved from outside hitter last year to libero this year and has made the transition seamlessly. Hunter's ball control is incredible, both in serve receive and in defense. He makes plays he has no business making and picks up balls that he has no business picking up. Sometimes you look at each other like, how did he get that ball? But the reason he does is because he sacrifices his body. That's right. Thank you for joining me on that. I can remember several crucial plays, several crucial rallies throughout the season where a defensive touch by Hunter got us a point, got us a side out, sparked a rally, or won us a game. And as the saying goes, I kind of beat myself to the punch, but as the saying goes, Hunter sacrifices his body. It's become a phrase on our team. He's definitely got some bumps and bruises, but it's because he commits fully to every play and every point, which is something we talked about at the beginning of the season. He has great game knowledge and reads the ball well. Though only a sophomore, he certainly doesn't play like one. He's fun to watch and has been a great addition to the varsity team. As a sophomore, Hunter was recognized by other coaches and earned South Region Honorable Mention recognition. Hunter's future is very bright, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the offseason and how he comes back as a junior next year. Hunter Haas. Our varsity sophomores, you guys can have a seat. Juniors, come on. We're going to start with Jacob Callahan. What we're glad most about with Jacob, and I mean this, is that he's healthy. He's kind of had a tough year, and he missed about half of our season due to some injuries and things like that. but he's back, and we could not be happier that he is back. One thing that people don't know is when we talked with Jacob back in March, we said, when you're healthy, you can try out. And he said, until that point, you're going to be a student coach for us. And Jacob took on that role. He was outstanding in practice. He never missed. I don't know that we ever had to shag during a drill because Jacob was constantly working, constantly helping out. And from that standpoint, just being a great teammate, Mike, Doug, and I are very appreciative of everything that you did in that early half of the season. But he came back. He is healthy, and we are very grateful, and we are glad about that. And when he came back, it was obvious to us that Jacob had not skipped a beat. Jacob has great ball control and has helped our serve-receive numbers improve. Jacob has a good float serve and has great game knowledge and the ability to read hitters well. Jacob is a competitor and likes to win. I look forward to seeing Jacob stay healthy and to get stronger in the offseason, preparing himself for a great senior year. Jacob County. Trevor Sheets. Much like Braden, Trevor stepped up and stepped in and made a huge impact on our team, especially in these last 2.5 weeks. With Donovan out, Trevor set the other half of our 6-2 and has done a great job. Trevor has great hands and he knows how to run an effective offense. He has great game knowledge and he knows who to get the ball to and when to get it to him. He's a competitor and I like that about him. His defense is improving, and I specifically remember, and I mean this, I specifically remember a couple of big digs Trevor had in the Northmont match against that lefty. That kept us in rallies, that kept us in plays, and those were huge. And that really speaks to Trevor's work ethic. Those stand out in my mind. You remember those? Those were big. You said he was easy?
Still working on it.
I know. We'll get there. That's all right. He had to crash a little. We'll give him that. They were good digs, Trev. They were good digs. That guy had a good swing, but Trevor was right there. He was able to keep us in some of those rallies. Trevor's great energy, and he's positive and a great team player. Even if he's not on the court, Trevor's supporting the team, doing some crazy cheers and stuff that I don't always know what happens with Adam. Sometimes I turn around, I see him laying on the ground, and I get angry. Sometimes. Get off the ground. I scared him once. I look forward to seeing Trevor improve as he's continued to do over the last 3 years and see what he brings to the team next year as a senior. Trevor Sheets. Nate Farwick. When Nate started the year, we weren't really sure what position he would settle into. He started out as a right side before we moved him to the outside. But the big reason that we moved him to the outside was because we realized he has great ball control, back row play, and has a nasty float serve. We'd never really seen Nate play in back row, so this was a very pleasant surprise to us as coaches. Nate makes great defensive touches, and great defensive and serve receive touches, and as I said, he has a nasty float serve, something that's invaluable to us and to our team. Nate's improved so much over the course of the season. He has taken advantage of his practice reps and contends with Ryan and Chris from a blocking and offensive standpoint. I look forward to seeing Nate's improvement in the offseason and to having him back next year as a senior. Nate Farwick. Maverick Owens. Like Nate Farwick, Maverick started the season and we weren't sure where he would settle. We had him swing on the outside before we moved him to the right side mid-season, and it's been a good move for Mav. Mav's done a great job on the right side, again, especially these last 2 weeks when we had some significant lineup changes. Mav is strong and athletic and isn't afraid to take a swing at the ball. But what I like most about Mav is that he's coachable and he wants to get better. In the Loveland match, Mav came off the court when it was his time and a rotation. We talked a little bit. I gave him a couple things to work on. Mav went in the next time around, and I saw him make those adjustments in just a matter of minutes. And that speaks to the kind of player, the kind of coachable young man that Maverick is. We love that about Mav. We tell him what we need to do, what needs to be done. He makes adjustments, and it's taken care of. I look forward to seeing Mav continue to improve in the offseason and to come back even stronger as a senior next year. Mav Owens. Ben Kaiser. When we sat down with Ben back in March at the beginning of our season, our preseason meeting, we told Ben, you're going to play middle for our team. I asked him what he thought. And to be honest, he didn't really have a choice, but kind of wanted to get his feedback. And this is true, Mike and Doug will back this up. We asked what he thought about that move, never really having played middle. In his response, and I'll never forget, he said, I'll play whatever is best for the team. That's the kind of kid he is. I'll play whatever is best for the team. He knew that's what we needed. And he knew that's what was best for the team. And even though he never really played middle, he was willing to step up and do that. And from a coach's standpoint, that's the kind of player that you want on your team. Ben's improvement and success in a brand new position is amazing. He works hard, asks questions, and simply gets better every single day in practice. His confidence and comfortability at the net and on the serving line gets stronger and better every single day. We feel like Ben's peaking at the right time. If you saw him play versus Loveland, you saw him bounce some balls. That was pretty nice. Craig, that was pretty nice, wasn't it? That was pretty nice. All right? Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but this one bounced a couple balls, and that one was trying to outdo him. And I will say this, unsuccessfully. Someone, if I'm wrong, tell me. But their nickname is the Kamikazers. And right? Isn't that right? Yeah? No? Is that not okay? Did that change and I wasn't aware? You can't keep up with it. Anyway, the Towers of Power, yeah, and the Towers of Power. But what's awesome is that you see Ben settling into this new position. And what's awesome, I probably Don and Terry see this too, but they're learning from each other, they're pushing each other, they're competing with each other, but all the while they're supporting each other, and the two of them are doing a great job together, and I love it. Ben's quality of play, this is awesome, Ben's quality of play earned him South Region Honorable Mention recognition this year. I've seen Ben's progress, we've seen Ben's progress just over the last 3 months, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the offseason and dominating that Kaiser next year as a senior, Ben Kaiser. That's our juniors. Thanks, guys. Before I talk about each of our seniors individually, I want to talk about them as a group. This is an outstanding group of seniors. They came in this year and set the tone for the entire season from day one. They talked about unity. They talked about being a team. They talked about not worrying about grade levels. They talked about making every touch and every point count. The seniors set the tone for our season. Everyone else followed. I'm proud of these guys, these 7 seniors, for making this season special and for setting a precedent for our program. And now I'll call them up individually, starting with Alex Elma. Alex Elma is a student coach for our varsity team, and he has been an integral part of our team for the last 2 years. And I truly cannot be more grateful for all that Alex has done for our team and for us as coaches. Alex is a great student, he has a job, but he always makes time for volleyball. He's an excellent communicator, and I mean that, and I love that about him. He sends me his schedule. Here are the days that I'm working, here are the days I have this, here are the days I will be at volleyball. I never worry about him. It's incredible. He is with us every chance he can be. All I have to do in practice is ask Alex to do something, and it's done in 5 minutes. He's a huddle expert. He unloads game film. He loads it up for these guys. He's invaluable. He's responsible, he's mature, and he's hardworking. Alex doesn't have a jersey or often get the credit he deserves, but I want Alex to know how much that Mike, Doug, and I know these guys here, appreciate all he's done for the team and how much we all respect and value him. And I'd ask that you all join me and give Alex a huge round of applause. Alex will be attending the University of Dayton next year. Thank you, Alex. Biscuit. Adam Siebert. Adam Siebert, Seabiscuit, Biscuit. There's a multitude of nicknames here for this guy. Adam, in my opinion, is the heart and soul of our team. I mean that. He's always positive and uplifting, even in our tough matches. I can always hear Adam behind me being supportive of his teammates and encouraging them in a positive manner. He also has taken the Gregs to a new level, and I know Chaz and JP would be proud and probably a little bit jealous. Agreed? Agreed?
That's saying a lot.
I think so. I mean it. Adam is an incredibly hard worker and has improved so much as a player over the last 4 years. Adam plays great defense and never backs down from big swing from guys like Chris or Ryan or another player across the net in a different jersey. Adam's loud on the court. He's a great communicator. He's always talking. He talks a little trash, which I also like. But it's all because he enjoys the game and he wants to push himself, but more importantly, he wants to push his teammates. Our program is truly better because of Adam, and I'm glad I've had the chance to coach him and get to know him over the last 4 years. Adam will be attending The Ohio State University next year. Adam Siebert. Noah Burnett. Noah came to Moeller during his sophomore year, joining us from Fairfield. And I mean this, I am so glad he made that transfer. Noah's been a great addition to our school, our program, and this varsity team. Mike, Doug, and I often refer to Noah's play as gritty. He's tough as nails and a true competitor. Noah hates to lose, whether it's a drill, a game, or simply running lines in practice. He's tough on himself, and he's tough on his teammates, but in a positive way. He expects a lot from himself, and he expects a lot from those around him. I forget which match it was. I don't remember, but I had this in my mind, my brain when I was writing this out. And there was a team that was running a slide, and Noah was playing middle back, and he struggled on the first probably 2 or 3 times that their middle ran that slide. And he was frustrated, but he kept inching his way over, and about midway through the match, finally started taking away that swing and taking away that kind of cross-court swing. And it was great to see Noah do that, making those in-game adjustments. And that truly just speaks to the kind of hard work and dedication that Noah puts in, not just in practice, but in games. He's an incredibly hard worker, and it's been fun to watch him improve over the course of the last 3 years he's been with our program. I love Noah's fight, drive, and determination. It will make him successful in college and beyond. Noah will be attending Miami University in the fall. Noah Burnett. Kyle Gallagher. Kyle's progress from the end of his junior year to currently where he is probably the most evident of anyone on our team. Kyle worked incredibly hard in his off-season to improve his game, and it more than paid off. Kyle came in swinging much more confident and much more aggressive. He's not afraid to swing at a big block, and he finds the hole in the block very well. I can think of many, many times when as coaches we'd be sitting there, and Kyle would have a swing where he would squeeze it between the antenna, and the blocker's outside hand. A lot of those. And that takes confidence. Kyle has that. He's worked on developing shots and has been implementing the strong tip recently. He's improved his off-block defense and has been doing a great job reading and picking up those balls in defense. And all of this is because of how hard he works day in and day out. He asks questions and he implements. It's fun to see him make adjustments and be successful. Kyle's a team player and a positive force out on the court. It's been fun, and I know he would say this too, because he said it. Thanks, Mom, for making me play back in the day. But it's been fun to see someone like Kyle, who's never really played volleyball prior to his freshman year, come into our program, be successful, and have such a love for the game. Kyle's a great example to our younger players of what hard work can accomplish. Kyle will be attending the Ohio State University next year. Kyle, get that. Mike and Doug are Ohio State grads, so they love hearing that. Donovan Pete. What I love most about Donovan is that he is a competitor. Donovan hates to lose, and he will do anything that he can to win. Donovan's got a great head on his shoulders, he's a smart player, and he's a student of the game. We can always count on Donovan to make the right set at the right time. As the setter, Donovan is similar to a quarterback or a point guard. He knows it's his job to make his hitters look good. He takes that role very seriously, and when a hitter makes an error, Don's the first one to accept the responsibility. He's a great teammate in that sense, and that's part of the reason that our hitters are as successful as they are, and Donovan is as successful as he is. Donovan is focused, hardworking, and determined. He loves volleyball so much, and it shows in how hard he plays both in practice and in games. He is quick to the ball and a true athlete. He's able to get to balls that other setters can't or don't because of his athleticism, but probably more importantly because of his determination. Because this season isn't over yet, I haven't finalized numbers, but I can tell you this. Donovan will solidify himself in our record books in a couple of different categories. His outstanding play has earned him recognition regionally and at the state level, including second team GCL, second team South Region, and just this week Donovan was named honorable mention All-State. Donovan will be attending Wright State University next year. Donovan Pete. Ryan DeGolf. I didn't want to interrupt your text there, Alex. Sorry. Give me the go-ahead when I can continue. Ooh, he's back. Where am I, Ryan DeVault? Ryan DeVault. If you've seen Ryan play, you know that he's a fierce competitor. He always has that look in his eye. I mentioned earlier about faculty and staff coming up and talk to me, but so many people talk about this guy too. They'll come to a match, and they'll come up to me after a match, and they'll say, I never knew Ryan was so fiery. He's usually so calm and prayerful and quiet. And then I see him on the court, and it's a completely different person. And that's true. If you've seen Ryan play, you know that's exactly true who he is. Ryan is such a competitor. And that is Ryan. He's fiery. He's a competitor. He has that look all the time. Ryan wants the ball and serve receive, and sometimes gives the team this. Yes or no? Yeah? Give it to him. He wants the ball. He's a competitor. He wants the ball. And what's even worse is that oftentimes they serve it to him, which is a big mistake. He wants the ball on offense. He's never afraid to take a big swing. He's never threatened by a big block. And I love that about Ryan. He will never back down. He's fun to watch, and, like Hunter, he's never afraid to sacrifice his body for the team. Ryan isn't just a vocal leader, but a leader via his actions. He talks the talk, and more importantly, he walks the walk. He holds himself and his teammates to a high standard, and that's part of the reason our team is successful, and a part of the reason that he is a captain. His teammates respect that about him and admire that in him. Other coaches, besides the three of us standing here, other coaches in the state have recognized that in Ryan as well. Ryan was named first team GCL, first team South Region, and just this week, second team All-State. Ryan will attend The Ohio State University next year. Ryan DeVault. Christopher. Chris Geiger. The original Comic-Heiser. The original. Chris is a silent assassin. He isn't loud or vocal, but he goes out on the court and just gets the job done. Seeing Chris progress over the course of the last 3 years that he's been with us on varsity, we came into the season and knew that Chris would be a big part of our offensive game plan in order for us to be successful. We told our setters, put the ball in the air and let Chris work. And it's been effective thus far. One of my favorite memories of the season was versus St. X at St. X. And people probably don't know this, but Chris had missed the practice the day prior. He was very sick. And he came back to school the next day, the day of our X match, so he could play that evening. Chris is a competitor. One of my favorite moments of the season was after we won that match in Game 5, big comeback. We went 5 games deep that night, and Chris was visibly struggling. And I said to him, "Are you okay? Can you continue?" And Chris said, "I'm good." But he was struggling. He gave everything, after the final point, he powered through and played great. After the final point, he fell to his knees and celebrated. He gave it one of these. We got it on film. It was really a great moment. But Chris was physically, emotionally, mentally exhausted. But the kind of competitor and athlete that Chris is, he gave everything he had, and it was worth it winning that game. It showed on his face. What a great moment. Chris is a hard worker, a great teammate. I think Ben would agree, a great brother. Like Donovan, Chris will break some records, but we'll figure all that out in a week or so. I'm proud of Chris, and I'm glad others have recognized his hard work out well. We got a long list of accomplishments coming up. First team GCL and Player of the Year GCL. First team South Region and Player of the Year South Region. And just this week was named first team All-State and State of Ohio Player of the Year. Chris will be attending the University of Cincinnati next year. Chris Geiger. At this point, I will turn the mic over to our seniors to allow them a chance to speak.
Hello everyone, my name is Noah Burnett, and first I'd like to thank my parents for sending me to Moeller. It's been a great 3 years, I couldn't be happier, and it's been a hell of a ride. And next to the coaching staff, thank you for everything. I've learned a lot more about volleyball and becoming a man of Moeller. And then to my teammates, it's been a great time. Let's finish it this weekend on a high note. Bring home that hardware. Go Mo.
Hello everyone, I am Kyle. Alright, so I want to start by thanking all my teammates. You guys have made this such an amazing year, and I actually genuinely enjoy spending time with everybody on this team. And I know we don't like to use the fun word, but I'll say enjoy. I enjoy this team a whole lot, and it's always a good time when we're together. Next, I want to thank all the kids on the freshman and JV teams. You guys are always there to support us through our matches, and a lot of times when we're just like dead on a Tuesday night and don't want to be playing, like seeing you guys kind of helps push us through that. Next, I want to thank the entire coaching staff for all the time and energy you sacrifice for us. I know a lot of people in their careers wouldn't like to be spending 2 hours every night with high school kids, but you guys somehow put up with us, and you do a lot for us, both on the court and off the court, and I thank you for that. Next, to all the parents for everything you do to like help our program get to where it is, all the meals and all the driving you do, all the times we come to you at 11:30 at night and tell you we need our jersey washed for the next day. So thank you for all the sacrifices you make, all the hot, sweaty gyms, and all the driving you do to help us play volleyball and the sacrifices you make. And lastly, I'd like to thank my family, my mom, Debbie, and my sister, Elena. You guys have been my biggest fans since day one, and you're always there to support me and push me. And my mom made me sign up for volleyball in 8th grade when I basically hated her for it. So, thank you. So thank everyone here. You're all helping us get where we need to be. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adam Seward. First off, I'd like to say thank you to all the underclassmen who come out to support the volleyball team. We see you guys at a lot of our games, even after your season's ended, so that's really cool. And although JJ left, I was going to say, I want to say thanks to JJ for joining our team. He's done a great job, and he's been doing a great job on the scout team. And he's learned the bench cheers very quickly. I'd also like to say thank you to Kyle Gallagher for convincing me to play volleyball my freshman year. I recently opened the letters to ourselves you write as freshmen, and in it I said, let me know if we decided to play volleyball, because I'm still not sure. So thank you, Kyle. He convinced me. He told me it's a good way to get in shape, and I tried out, and here I am. Just like Bill said, who knew I would have been here? Next, I want to thank all the coaches who've helped me along the way. They always said if you listen and are coachable, then you'll make it far in the program, and I never truly believed them, but thanks to their persistence, I was able to develop into a varsity player, which is pretty cool. So I'm truly grateful for all my coaches that truly care about their players and never give up on anyone. It's got me to the point where I am today, so thank you to them. This varsity team is special. When tryouts were over, I was excited as I looked around the huddle we were in, and Matt said, "These are the guys." There were the seniors I was close to, the juniors I was expecting to play with, and the underclassmen with a lot of talent I was excited to get to know. Watching these underclassmen open up to us upperclassmen has been one of my favorite experiences this season. Hunter started off very timid, but slowly we talked to him and told him how freaking good he was. He would start smiling more and started feeling himself after incredible digs. He'd get a ball up and turn to us and be like, "Yeah, you like that? Yeah, it's pretty good." Me and Kyle would often talk about it at practice. Luke and Alec were a little bit quicker to open up, a little bit more of a personality on them. So they, right out the bat, were excited to be a part of the team and contributed a lot. Braden also started off a little shy, but slowly as he became more confident in his play, he started to open up outside of the court too, so that was cool. None of the players on this varsity team are duds. Everyone has something to contribute, and I consider... everyone has something to contribute, and I consider everyone on this team my friend. I'm especially proud of my accomplishments on the bench this season. The players on the scout team know how hard it can be sometimes to come out every practice, every day, and not get looks on the first team side of the court. Sometimes I would get real down on myself, like, why would you even play if you don't get chances to get into games? But the bench players, the Gregs, as we call ourselves, have made volleyball all worthwhile. The bench is a lot of fun. Huge thanks to Trevor, my other unspecifically titled bench captain, for helping me come up with all of our cheers and helping me get into the games from the sidelines. One rule of thumb that I stick to when coming up with cheers was whether or not Mav would burst out laughing when I said them. If Mav gave me the okay, it was a good one. I really truly feel deep down that singing "That Was Gross" really, really, really gross. Cheers like that made me the Reese's Puffs, eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up. And counting the other team's errors really helped us out on the court. Yeah, shout out to Wyatt Albers. 15 errors in our first game. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hopefully Moeller's bench will be able to carry on the tradition of being a motivator for those on the court and a target of hate from opposing teams. Matt also told us at the end of the year, he was telling some of the guys their accomplishments after like the regional like South Awards and things like that, and he said that like Chris was player of the year in like the region, and he told us that some of the teams had formed a formal complaint for Moeller's bench. We all got really excited. We did it. That turned out not to be true, which still a little hurt about. Lastly, I want to thank my parents. It must be difficult sometimes to go to games where they knew I would have no chance of getting in. And I imagine not only the hours they spent sitting through games, but when they had to drive me to games and practices as an underclassman, they always supported me and showed interest in what I was doing, and I cannot express my appreciation enough for everything they do for me. Regardless of the outcome of this weekend, this has been a special season. I will always treasure the memories I have with this team and these coaches. Thank you.
I'm going to use my phone again. So I thought it'd be good to follow Adam because I also think I should give my parents a shout out because they also knew I would never get in the game. But especially my mom, who I don't think missed a single match. She was always a supporter for the team, so special thanks to her, who's crying right now. So yeah, thank you to my parents, especially my mom, and also all the moms who put on senior week. I really appreciated it. I felt like a part of the team, so it was awesome. All of the parents, just thank you for supporting us and your sons. They've become great friends to me. And the guys on the team, because when I was here, it was so much fun. So I want to thank the coaches, especially the freshman coaches, who technically I was a student coach for, but they didn't meet me till halfway through the season, so it is what it is. Bill and Ryan Kelsey, who I actually played for, kind of surprised people. Yeah. And then the varsity team, just for the flexibility that I've had to do what, like, I love my job and I also love doing this, so it's been awesome to do both. And I thought I should give some small special shout outs. The volley right lady, who just showed up, and the big game she would show up and sit next to me, we would talk the whole time. It was wonderful. I don't know her name, but and also all the down refs were great. I enjoyed talking to them all season. Yeah. And then, of course, Doug Horst, who I spent all the home games with. I love him. He was great, and Ed, who I also spent all the home games with. It was so much fun. So thank you for everyone who made this possible for me.
Alright, so first of all, I'd like to thank my parents for the countless amount of hours that they have put into my volleyball career, especially in club. We drive to like Chicago and St. Louis and fly down to Jacksonville and stuff. And almost every tournament, both my parents would go. And noticeably, when my sisters had soccer tournaments, only one of them would go. So thank you for clearly showing that boys volleyball was more fun than watching my sister's soccer game. So thank you for that. And next, I'd like to thank the coaches I've had over these past 4 years. You really meant a lot to me, developing me into the volleyball player that I am today. And hopefully I can play in college at the club level at Ohio State and succeed there, and in a lot of part to you guys. So thank you so much for that. And then lastly, I'd like to thank the players I've had the privilege to play with these past 4 years, but especially these guys on this team. I think we're pretty special this year, and especially the Gregs. Like, it is so frustrating and aggravating to play against you guys in practice, because like freshman, sophomore year, like you knew the guys you could pick on, and now like it's not fun to pick on them anymore because they're like good, so they get pumped up. And like you think that ball's gonna go away, but somebody comes diving out of nowhere and they're gonna pick it up, and like you just don't know what to do anymore. But that I wouldn't change that for the world. It's really made us better players, and like you guys beating us in practice is sometimes the best thing for us. So thank you guys for that. And then to the underclassmen, whether you're going to be a returning varsity starter or somebody who's going to fight for the spot on the JV team next year, don't take this opportunity for granted. Work as hard as you guys can, because you know that Friday afternoon workout from 3 to 4:30 before basketball game against St. X, you're not going to want to go to it. You're going to want to text Matt with some made-up excuse that you've got family problems or something, or family business, but you're going to want to go to that, because then this Saturday and Sunday is when it's going to pay off, and you're going to be able to bring home that hardware and hopefully put a ring on your finger that summer. So thank you, and go Mo.
Hello. I first want to thank the coaching staff. First, Matt Konetsky. He's kind of my setters coach along with Doug. But Matt helped me a lot. Before practice, also with my ankle. He was the first one to help me out with that. Drag me off the court and stuff along with Doug also. But helped me with that and my recovery as well. Also, helped with a lot of other things, like physically and stuff like that. But thank you that to him, and to Mike and Doug and Matt. It's been fun the past couple of years. Sometimes there are struggles, obviously, with stuff, but I really enjoyed spending time with them because they're really awesome. Not just as coaches, but as people in general. I love talking to Mike and Doug and Matt during school times. It's really fun. I also want to thank my parents. It's been a long time, playing ball since 6th grade and stuff. All those attack tournaments, like Ryan said, Jacksonville and all that fun stuff. And they always made the trips, took off work for that. And they had a good time, I would say they did.
Oh yeah.
They made sure they did at least. So thank you, and you're welcome for playing volleyball. Because they have more friends because of it, I would say. But that's not the point. I do, thank you guys so much. You guys sacrifice a lot for me. And to us as parents, I know you guys do just as much as my parents do, and you guys don't get much credit enough. And I'm sure you guys are thankful your sons play volleyball too, and it's pretty nice. And yeah, thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Chris. It's too low. First I want to thank my parents for everything they've done for me, for letting me come to Moeller. Like Ryan and Donovan said, for all the attack tournaments they've been going to, Jacksonville, the long drives, those are always fun. Next, I'd like to thank the coaches for all the work they've given to me specifically throughout the years. I wouldn't be the player I am without you guys. And to Matt Konetsky for coming to our practices and helping us. It means a lot to all of us. We really appreciate it. And to Gus, thank you for coming back. If you did see Gus's tweet, I do not bully him during practice. I don't know where he said that. I don't know what you're talking about. I also like to thank all the parents. Like they said, we really appreciate all the work you guys do for us, with planning the meals and driving us to all the games. We wouldn't be anything without you guys. And then this team was really something special this year, and I was really looking forward at the beginning of the year. And I'm really proud of you guys. And to the Gregs, like Ryan said, it's a pleasure working with you guys during practice. It's really irritating to play against you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. And to the rest of the program, good luck in your seasons. in the future. Thank you.
All right, this time we want to. Chris is a little taller than me. We have gifts for the coaches for all that you have done for us, all the times you put up with our bad jokes, and just all the time you spend for us and everything you do for us over the year. We're really thankful and really appreciative of all the work you do for us. So we have some gifts for you next.
So just a few quick notes before we officially end for the evening. This varsity team, you heard it a lot tonight from these guys especially, but this is a special group. They've got a chance to do something pretty cool. So if you are around this weekend and have some free time, we play at 11:45 Saturday morning up at Capital University in Bexley. We'd love to have our freshmen and JV players and parents there supporting us. We play Olin Tangi, all right? And after we win that, I'll give more details. I don't really like to look more beyond the next day. It's been a mantra this season and day to day and point to point. So we're talking about the 11:45 one. We'll talk about the other ones as they come. But we'd love to have you there if you can be there. We'd love to have a great sea of blue and gold to support this very special group of young men as they take on this state weekend and do something I think pretty special. Freshman JV players, if you've not turned in your jerseys, please do so. If you forgot them, please bring them up to Moeller at some point this week. All right. We've also got, and I'll talk to people after about this, we've got Moeller Volleyball Camp July 16th to 19th. 2 sessions. If you want to work at service hours, come find me after. And we've also got the Fundamentals Camp, which is July 9th to 13th. That's either service hours or paid. You choose that. 4 guys. If you're interested, let me know. First 4 that volunteer for that, we'll take those spots. Again, that's July 9th to 13th, Fundamentals, and July 16th to 19th, Moeller Volleyball Camp. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for a great evening. And as these guys said, go Mo. Have a great night, guys.